Um, so hello, this is Korea Talk, first episode. This show originally got created by Kefkalol on Twitter or domXtheXbom on Reddit. A lot of people know him from there. Me, Pinata, and Gosickboy or Sam were chosen by him, but he had to stop because of time issues. So the other three are taking over. Gosickboy's not here right now. He still has some issues. Hopefully next week or soon he will join us as a third panelist, and then instead of 4 people, we do it to 3 and guests, different guests every week. For now, Benjamin has been so nice to take over, so we're not stuck here with only 2 people. And yeah, that was it. Pinata, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Pinata1 at Pinata1. With me is Peter, who is going to be a regular guest or regular host onto the show too with me. And then visiting us, we have Ben. If you want to introduce yourself, Ben.
Yeah, you might know me from Twitter as @lolworlds, where I've released some analyst content, and I'm an avid watcher of the LCK. So happy to be on the show.
Okay, well, though the LCK or OGN, whichever one you want to call it, I prefer OGN because champions. We're going to quickly go over the top 10 rankings each. Peter, if you want to start with yours, and I believe Sam gave you his too.
Yeah, okay, so I'll start. So my top 10 was from 1 to 10. SKT number 1, and CJ, then KT, then Ku, Tigers, and Najin, Jin Air, IM, Samsung, Anarchy, and Sonic Boom Sbenu. It's some. I'm not entirely sure about that middle of the pack stuff. Like Najin could be a lot lower, and Jin Air higher, or Ku lower, but I just had to make something up. And Gosickboy sent me. He was number 1 SKT, number 2 CJ, number 3 KT, number 4 Jin Air, number 5 Najin, number 6 Ku, number 7 IM, 8 Anarchy, 9 Samsung, and 10 Sonic Boom Sbenu. So yeah.
Ben, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So my top 10 in ranking order would be number 1 SKT, number 2 CJ, number 3 KT, number 4 Jin Air, number 5 Ku Tigers, number 6 Najin, 7 Samsung, 8 Anarchy, 9 IM, and 10th I would have Sbenu.
Mine's pretty similar. I have broken mine up in tiers though. I think the top 2 are definitely SK and CJ. They're the actual ones that have been consistent and still look good, besides a Vayne pick. Then I have KT, Ku are my next tier, which are they still aren't as bad, but I haven't been able to see all of Ku's games, so they might probably drop quickly. And then I have a kind of wishy-washy. I'm Jin Air, Najin, and then IM. And then I have Samsung, Anarchy, and Sbenu Sonic Boom as the 10th place. So from there, we're going to start off with Wednesday's game, Anarchy versus Najin, and Samsung Galaxy versus Sbenu. Let's start off with Peter. What is your hope for Najin? I know Sam's not here, who loves Najin, but let's see what's your opinion on Najin's hope after that loss to Anarchy.
There were sad games. I still put them high, but they're constantly using their worst players in my opinion. In most cases, Goong, I watched the whole time. It's such a risk, and also Pure gets to play a lot now. I'm kind of surprised the Kano Q combination just kind of got dropped. I know, as long as I fool around as much with their roster, with the putting in different players, I'm not too hopeful. I mean, they lost to Anarchy. That should not happen. At least last split they were consistently beating the bottom teams, but now they're not even doing that anymore. So at least they beat Ku. That's something. But they're looking okay. But,
do you think they should be switching from Watch to Peanut and maybe changing Goong up for a different mid laner who does a little bit more control support mid lane champions?
Yeah, I definitely think Goong could be they need a mid laner with a better pool that can diversify a bit. And I just wish they used Peanut more to like let him do, because he's more active. He still needs a lot of experience, but like they need somebody like Watch has proven year after year that he is just the same guy, and that is not gonna be very proactive in things. And he will always do the same thing, but it's not very impactful in a lot of games. Yeah, and good
He's a support.
games. Yeah, but and not the ganking roaming support. Just stay around, farm a bit, and put some wards, but do nothing proactive. He had good games this week, but yeah, still. This I prefer having somebody more proactive on the field. It would help.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I'll go for
Same question as
Najin
you,
Anarchy.
yeah, Ben.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so Duke I think has just been playing phenomenally. He like sometimes it just looks like he 1v5s the games on the right champions. But I think he's the only player on Najin to show positive consistency, as in some players are really on and off, but he can just be consistently, a rock for them, and he wins his lane almost every game. Doesn't seem to matter his competition. Watch I find really one-dimensional. Yeah, he plays as a second support, but he's not even like a good support. Like he'll miss his abilities a lot of the time. Like I saw a lot of people praising his Gragas, but if you actually watch like the team fights carefully and you watch his ults, they're actually really off. And like when he ganks, he'll just miss his Q, and like he'll hit the body slam, miss Q, and people will be like, "Oh, what a gank," because they get the kill anyway. But I just didn't see it that way. Goong, I think he's better in this meta than he was in the previous, in spring. I'm not convinced that Tank would actually be an upgrade in this meta, just because he played farming champions like Xerath and Karthus, but neither of them are very popular right now.
Yeah. We all know the Koreans and their Xeraths.
Yeah. And I don't think, if he could show that he was good on Cassiopeia and Azir, then okay, I would put him in. But without being shown yet, I'd probably rather have Goong. OQ, he's the player that we think he is. He's so inconsistent, and I mean he'll have flashes of brilliance where he can carry an entire game from like laning phase to the Nexus, but more often than not, he just seems to shit the bed and do no damage in team fights and just feed.
Pulling OQ.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember quite vividly there was a team fight in one of these games against Anarchy. I think it was game 2, where he was Lucian, and they lost this game, and he got caught. Oh no, it was game 3 actually. Yeah, because Mickey was on Zed. And he gets caught. Yeah, he gets caught. He like E flashes over a wall, still gets Zed altered, gets Lantern back into the tower, lives. Then a team fight ensues, and he gets off like 0 auto attacks, and he's just running away. And then I think it's a 2-for-2, and everybody's low. And then after the fight, he decides to just flash in and die, like he is one to do. But he was like 50 units out of auto attack range or something, where if he got the crit, he might have got the kill. But that's the kind of play he'll make, where it's just really low percentage, could carry the game, but just when he just feeds, it looks really bad and looks like he's just throwing.
Yeah, he does have a lot of terrible plays like that. Yeah, that was game 3 with LeBlanc, the great LeBlanc of Goon.
No.
Yeah, that was
solo
awful.
killed.
That big
That was awful.
Yeah,
And then
my
Anarchy,
yeah,
I'll just
go
quickly say about Anarchy that I think Ixu was their biggest sore spot. I mean, he was up against Duke, and I mean that's obviously going to be a tough matchup. But from what I heard, he's a shock caller, so maybe that's his redeeming feature. But mechanically and in lane phase, he seemed really weak. Lyra seemed okay. had a good sense of how to engage. He's not very flashy, but he was good enough to out-jungle Watch in a couple of games, which is all right. Mickey, obviously the star of the team, and when he was on World Elite Academy, he was always shown to have like some carry potential, but it was like it just wasn't on a team
not
that it
do
could
well.
matter enough on. Yeah, like he would have games like his Z game where he just goes off, but then he would have games where he like plays Yasuo and goes like 0-10 in lane or something, and like they lose. Sung Yoon is like he plays a really good cleanup role, which is I think what they need with Mickey, because I think he'll be the main focus of the other team in fights. And Snowflower actually likened him a little bit to Mandu, where he would have moments where like absolutely atrocious, where he would just get caught and die for nothing, but then in team fights he would seem to do really well. Like he would be able to put his CC on the right people and do really well. So that's what I thought of Anarchy, at least in this series.
Yeah, I was a bit caught out with Anarchy. I think they are. I placed them a bit lower, even though some people thought that after that game they might not be the bottom of the table. They may be mid tier. I think that they played one dimensional more or less every time, focusing basically on Mickey. And if you just play what we saw happen against Bjergsen in MSI from who played Fizz?
Westor probably.
Taipei. Yeah, Westor. You just play defensively. You don't let him go crazy. You just push out a wave. You just keep him in mid lane, and you have jungle support make sure junglers near you. And I don't see them doing too much. I still think without a significant real presence from Iksu or Sung even stepping it up like Bang has on SKT, I don't see them jumping, like not as much as Bang has, but stepping up and being able to carry games. I don't see them being too much of a threat. I think they're going to take games, probably go to game 3 quite often with just Mickey going off one game, but I don't see them getting too many games off the top tier teams. We'll see, but I don't see them breaking out like kind of the bottom 3, bottom 4 maybe.
It doesn't help if you counter pick yourself against Mickey as well.
Yeah.
Why would you ever pick LeBlanc to Zed? I mean, you say skill matchup, but it's heavily favored for Zed since he has sustained better poke. He can build Hexinker and you're fucked, because by the time you have an Hourglass, Hexinker is super cheap early game snowball item in the matchup, while Hourglass takes forever to build. I don't know why you would do that. That's the problem with Goong right now. It's just his jamming pool is really limited to like mostly LeBlanc Ari, and then
his jamming pool has always been limited.
Yeah, well, I get exactly, but like it just continues and that happens.
Yeah.
Like where is the Zero and Cassiopeia that you need right now? More Vladimir play as well. But it's not happening. Vladimir is great instead. So would have been a better pickup.
Yeah, Vlad's ridiculous against him. Any other thing about that first game before we move on to another great game to see of Samsung versus Sbenu?
No.
I think that was it.
Okay, we can go on to Samsung.
I'll just say like why I had Anarchy low. I think I had them 8th.
Yeah, I believe I had them 9th.
I just think later on, like right now they're successful, but I think once they're figured out, I think that's like a kind of trend in Korea. Like once you're figured out, you're stuffed. Like once they know where to focus on the map, if you can only play one play style, then you're really gonna fall.
Cool.
So the biggest, we're good with Anarchy then?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the biggest thing I saw from the Samsung versus Sbenu, I know it was only against Sbenu, but holy crap, Kuve, was that actually Kuve playing? Was that someone else playing for Kuve? It's like
he was
hard carried. It was like wow, that was great. And of course we had the Fury is Fury T signs, which is always fun.
Mm.
The biggest change I saw with Samsung, which made me rate them a bit higher than I thought I would, was Fury stopped being like, my issue with them last split was Fury kept being hesitant. He wouldn't really go into a team fight if you watch his team fight and counted his auto attacks. throughout the season it started to go down. But he seems to have a bit more trust in Luna, or the trust in his team now.
Yeah.
And he seems to be a significant presence throughout the entire game, which is
That's
huge
also what I
for them.
noticed. Fury was always there.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
a big part of it is that Crown plays much better zoning mid laners than the mid laners they had before,
Crown
which
was
just
pissed.
mostly played assassin. So I think that really helped Fury get a lot of auto attacks off, play well.
Crown also seemed he seemed like a pretty decent mid laner, but he also seemed it was obvious he was pretty nervous at his
Yeah.
liberal use of his summoner spells when he really didn't need to. He would blow
Yep.
both flash and barrier when he was trying to go in to push someone out with his ult. Azir, it was like, oh, you're already getting a shield from hitting him. So
Yeah.
other than that, I had to praise Samsung for their objective control. Even it's still against Sbenu or Prime as they were before. But just quick about Sbenu for me was they seemed like a Samsung from last split. They didn't seem all coordinated. They seemed like they had decent players. They just didn't seem to know what to do together. And that really, really showed like once Dragon started coming in, they just started losing and then didn't know what to do to stop the loss. So what did you guys think of that, Ben? What did you think of the series?
Of the series, I think for Samsung to do well, I feel like they need to. I still think Cuvée probably needs to be replaced. I'm not really convinced yet. I also think Eve is a little bit underwhelming. Like he also plays this support style, but he really can't make plays. Like he can be in the right place at the right time, like similar to Watch, but it's just. I think the team at the moment has a bit of a lack of playmakers. I mean, Cuvée stepped it up in this series, but
It
I'm
was
not
against
really
Sbenu.
convinced. Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I think like if he's against a better top laner who will abuse him, like Sol really didn't do anything. I think there was a lane swap in one of the games. But yeah, Sol didn't do anything. Cuvée had like the favorable matchup as well, so yeah, I don't think that's much to go on. But yeah, I was really impressed by Fury's play. I think his team desperately needed a carry. Like they tried to have like Bliss be their carry before, but he was too inconsistent. That's why you're much better off having your AD carry be the carry of your team, I think, especially in this meta where you need to be able to kill tanks. Fury, like even a couple of times he actually went too far up, but like that might even be a good sign. Like it looked like he was really confident a couple of points there. So hopefully he can keep up that level. And I don't know, Sbenu, they're okay. Sassen I liked. I thought he actually played pretty well, but
The thing I really did like about Sbenu is that they were open to like playing subs to kind of figure out who is going to work in the team. It seems like they're more okay with testing out like each of their players and seeing which ones they want to stick it out with, which I think is probably a better decision. There's no auto relegation, I believe, for champions. So
No idea.
even if they go in last place and they have to fight to get back in with what the KR challenger is at the moment, I think they're perfectly fine.
They're
So
okay.
I think testing out all of their basically players and picking out which ones they want to go with for the rest of the season is probably a really good idea.
Yeah.
So what did you think of those teams for the first week, Pete?
Well, yeah, they're bottom tier, obviously, but they're showing some. Like I already think they show a bit more problems than Samsung because you kind of felt Samsung was not going that much last split. They're not gonna do great because competition above is still too high, but at least they look to grow like more rapid than Samsung did last split at least, and being able to more contest, actually get some wins of teams over the better teams, while Samsung had like just struggles just getting a single win on the board last split. I think both Sbenu and Anarchy is gonna do a lot better on that part. Actually be some competition and at least take games away that teams the middle of the pack teams will need to get into playoffs. I mean, they're gonna be a lot of sport. They're gonna play spoiler a lot of the time. I feel like you might not know it now, but like when the playoffs come, you'll know like if that team hadn't lost to Sbenu or against Anarchy, they could have been in the playoffs. But yeah, they still need a lot of growing.
There's also only 5 spots open for playoffs too again, so
yeah,
it's pretty cutthroat.
Mm-hmm. That's so.
What I did like that they did between games was they changed like 3 players.
Yeah.
And they pretty drastically changed their team composition. I mean, I think Sol was on Maokai both games, but other than that, they had the first game. It looked like the first game it looked like they were really playing for picks to get the fizz ahead, which worked okay. They caught Crown out a couple of times, which goes with the kind of inexperienced part. I think it's something that happens to a lot of new players. They tend to get caught out early on, and then once they get used to it, they work out where the wards normally are, and they just don't go in there with no vision. And then they put Duet, who was their second mid laner, on Ziggs.
Yeah.
Which, if that's actually indicative of like the way each of those players plays, then that could be really interesting. Swapping them around based on which style they think will suit better.
I was still surprised by the Lee Sin pick in the first game. I don't think it did enough to really warrant its pick.
There's a few Lee picks that in first days were weird. People still trying it. But
his Gragas was pretty bad catch, so I think that might be a small indicator as to why they picked Lee Sin.
There was also Gragas, Sejuani, and Rek'Sai were all banned, and then Nunu was selected, so you're already on the 4th tier jungler, but it just seemed like Lee Sin, Cinderhulk just doesn't really do anything.
Should pick Jarvan up. Jarvan with Black Cleaver is actually pretty decent right now. Cinderhulk into Black Cleaver. Actually has some decent scaling.
Black Cleaver is pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
If you want the pick potential early game to get Fizz ahead against Azir, I can kind of understand the Lee Sin pick, but you really need to get ahead, and it just kind of like they were doing things and then it kind of petered out, and then Fury just took the game over and killed everyone, and then it was over.
Yeah, the other issue was that Crown was playing pretty different. Like, he definitely knew he was like just play defensive and let Fury win and just kind of zone for him. Yeah,
I think it's nice they like really build up for Fury with the Lulu as well. Like they wanted Fury to carry, and they played well around that to get them their zones.
I'm still so surprised that Cuvée was in there, but man, those first 2 games are great. Like, his Gnar was like, I was just like, this isn't Cuvée, because he's played Hecarim before, and Hecarim with Smite, you just teleport in and you just alt onto the AD carry and you one-shot it, and then you've completed your job. But his Gnar was actually pretty impressive. But again, it was against a not very coordinated team. So let's move on to Thursdays, the single game, the weird time of, I think it's like 1 a.m. my time, which does not really work well.
Yeah, I was surprised it started so early. Like, I totally missed it. I had to watch later because it's like, 7.
Yeah, I watched the VODs and I saw one of them was like 30 minutes and I was like, okay. And then I saw the first game and it was the great hubris of Vayne. I don't.
Oh my god!
The moment I looked at it, I was like, "Yep, they just want they want Anarchy to go 2-0 this week. Like, take that Vayne, boys. Space on Venus.
As well as one could expect.
Yeah. Don't know.
Which is not at all. And then you had the complete and utter stomp that was the second game. And with that closed so quickly. Like it was 30 minutes, and I kept looking, like I kept going on the VOD, like how is this gonna end? How is this gonna end? And then it was
Double
like,
AD,
oh
right?
my god, it was Jace Rumble Sivir, and it
Yeah.
was just like, oh that the tooling around they had the second game, where Shy and Coco were trying to run away forever, and then they got like 3 kills, and Anarchy just continued to chase and dive and Rek'Sai ult to them. It was just like, or Evelyn running to them, and it was just hilarious. Just like, just let them go. You're already dead.
Stop
The tilt.
the return of Chase.
They work a lot better when they put space on these more utility champions.
Yes.
Like putting him on Vayne is just so
Yeah, I
makes my
have
head
written down
hurt.
here. Oh, space. You aren't the CJ carry. And he played a really good Jinx the third game, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
him
But-
carrying is like, okay, great, we got
Yeah,
3
but
people doing it.
Jinx is
Yeah.
like just right click and make sure you stay alive. But Vayne actually requires thought process, and good positioning, mechanics.
I think game 3 was just a mess for Anarchy. Like, I still don't understand why Mickey blind picked Vlad instead of LeBlanc. Like, he just picked straight into that Cassiopeia matchup, which was just
I remember.
awful.
Yeah, what would you?
Abysmal.
He went Spirit
And
Visage
Spirit
first.
Visage first.
Yeah, this Bridge Visages
That
this
was
week
rough.
were bad.
Oh my god, that was again. I think the issue too is that Anarchy played 2 games like back to back, day wise, and that's pretty. I'd say significantly different for like Korean teams that you're not playing the last game of the group set and you're not going right into the tiebreaker. The tiebreaker, I think, is the only time I've seen teams play within at least 2 days, 3 days. Usually, it was whoever played Wednesday would play the Sunday game or Saturday games. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, they have no coaching staff or any kind of support, so
And they had no time, probably.
it was still surprising to be like, oh, Vayne isn't going to work. So time just completely crushed their dreams of we're gonna win 2 games. Yeah, nope. CJ's still actually pretty good.
I think they were still happy with the 1 game at least.
Shy's Rumble ults were pretty god mode.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Shy's Rumble was so good.
My only issue I really have with
No, you go.
Go ahead. I'll say my only issue I have with CJ is still Monty and has been praising ambition in his transition to the jungle, but I still think he's a bit too hesitant early game, like first 10 minutes. I don't see him being as proactive as some of the other junglers that get successful ganks and successful burning like abilities and forcing them to play a bit more passively. He seems to still just kind of like just sit around and farm. I mean, I know he was playing Sejuani, but it was just like, okay, buddy, you gotta come out of the jungle at some point. This isn't season 3.
Well, it showed in their success, right? I mean, in game 1, he was on Rek'Sai and did not nearly as well as, as when he went to the old Clear Love style of jungling where he would just farm and then be massive in team fights, just hit a big ulti and then Shy would lay down his ult and those games ended really fast.
This one was for brutal.
I don't get the Evelyn picks either. By like the second game, Evelyn was picked by Anarchy.
Why?
Bizarre.
Because I mean, because he's a player. Like he's just an Evelyn player, I guess, and it worked once.
But there are such better champions.
Yeah. I know.
The Nunu was still up. I mean, I understand that's a whole different champion, but they banned Gragas himself, and it's just such a weird pick. If you don't get really far, like if you don't get a lane going or Evelyn going, she just becomes an annoying insect by the end of the game. You just do damage enough.
You have to say that Coco did really well when he was against LeBlanc, Evelyn. Like that's a nightmare for Jace.
Especially because he got forced back. He backed twice before he had his tier. That was like that's why I was kept thinking like this game can't end that quickly, and then it ended in such a flash. It was just like wow, that shows how good he was on JC. He did die in lane, but it was still
No,
surprising to see
he
how
never
much.
died.
Didn't he
Okay,
die?
he never. No, he escaped
Yeah, okay, yeah,
each
yeah.
time.
That was really close.
He,
Yeah,
he
okay.
flashed the first time and then barried the second time.
Yeah, he buried the ignite.
Yeah.
I mean, is there too much more to say on this? Anarchy just got stomped when CJ didn't give
Oh,
them
yeah.
a game on Vayne.
Mad life.
Oh
Back
my
on Hook
god,
Champions.
yes.
Back on Hook Champions.
No, this
Once he
one.
got Thresh, he was so good.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
back. No more peel supports. Just hooks all over again.
Well, he's got to play peel supports if Space wants to play, like,
Vayne.
Vayne.
Well, I think they learned, like,
You got to protect him, but why are you protecting your not number? Like, why are you protecting your third carry?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point.
If he does, just put him
Play
on
like-
Sever or
Play Urgot Nautilus. Urgot
Yeah.
Nautilus and stuff like that. They'll do much
so you
more.
can just leave him in lane. Okay. Then we have Friday with KT versus Samsung and Jin Air versus IM.
The
And-
interesting.
Which one do you want to start off with, the KT versus Samsung?
Sure.
Uh,
Well, yeah.
Basically,
It's,
Samsung clearly has shown why everyone's rating them so high is that they have continued the end of their
KT.
summer dominance. That they looked like KT seemed like
KT.
the
Yeah.
second or third best team third best team because CJ was still there.
Yeah, CJ was still
Number
third.
3 team in spring,
yeah.
but now they've continued that in summer,
Yeah.
which is surprising for a KT team because as a fan of some of their teams, they seem to like to fall apart a lot at random times.
I know, it feels different now. Like, teams actually seem to, like, stay consistent over the time. Well, before, because all the roster changes and so many teams, it's spread out. But since it's less teams, the teams just keep growing, I guess. I mean, I feel that this split has been, like, it already feels just like a better version of last split. Like,
Mhm.
the same, but the teams that are there are better, and they have now new teams as well. So no, yeah, KT, they just continued. With Fixer, since Fixer joined, like, they've just been so much better. Like, it really helps if your bot lane is actually winning some
That's
games
it. Yeah,
and CS.
well, not even winning. It's
Just
the
CS.
pun is that he fixed like CS. It's just like was able to get 12 more like every time he's in lane. He gets 12 to 20 more extra CS to keep him even. If he's just even is enough.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, he just plays Relic Shield support, so
Yeah.
get it for him.
That's true.
Did
Yeah,
anyone
But,
see Fix's build in the second game, by the way? Where he was
can't remember.
brawl. It
I
was
did not.
Face of the Mountain, Sightstone, Mobies, then QSS, then Raptor Cloak.
Oh,
yeah, I
yes,
remember that QSS.
Yeah.
QSS.
Yeah.
Does the QSS even for Morgana bind?
I
Maokai?
guess he just,
Just not
W?
getting caught, I guess. It's like
if he gets
keep moving.
CC'd and he doesn't have his shield up, he wants to just quickly be able to put it up.
I remember that. I remember when he used this QSS on the Morgana bind at like the last half second it was there, and it's like, oh, I don't want to get hit, but I've been standing here for 2 seconds, so might as well QSS out of it.
The
That's so
panic.
good.
Not something supports are used to using, I'm guessing.
No, but his
So-
Braum play was actually pretty impressive for it not like Braum not really being a consistent support pick that we've seen. That was a good adaptation for the last game.
Yeah.
So not too sold on Morgana non-supports.
Yeah, they need
I
to.
think that's I understand it's against LeBlanc, but the idea is that when EDG ran it, they didn't like LeBlanc didn't have anyone to kill.
Yeah,
And the Morgana shield prevented you have
It-
a Callista
it was
squishy. Yeah.
Yeah, the logic. I don't know. They just like adapted the Morgana pick, but like the whole EDG comp was based around the LeBlanc pick. They did not do that in this case. Like, and Morgana is still not going to do that much. The whole point about their comp is like they have nobody for LeBlanc to kill, but they still had a lot of targets that LeBlanc could focus down. So Because and I'm pretty sure like Zed and Kesten were open, so I'm really confused why you would go Morgana against
Yeah.
it. There are way better options.
That was one of the things I don't know if we should deviate into that, but you've been very, very vocal about Cassidy
Yeah.
since his changes on Twitter, and I've been very interested in the lack of the amount of Cassidy counter picking to heavy AP assassins like LeBlanc.
It's mostly against LeBlanc. I think it's really good against other ones as well. Like today, or yesterday. What was it? Yeah, Najin versus Ku. Yeah, man, it's so weird to say Ku.
Yeah,
Like
it is weird.
you pick R against Kesten, and Kesten is eventually just gonna do way more. I don't know.
Yeah, this game too.
Yeah, game 2, but I don't know. I just think versus LeBlanc, it's just such an obvious counter matchup. As long as you do not beat Dom and feed level 3, you outscale her so quickly, and she has so little kill threat on you. So you just immediately, you still have a high DPS mid laner, but you eliminate her kill threat on you, which with not a lot of other champions, you have to, even if you build an absolute first item, you still, like, LeBlanc can still easily one-shot an Ahri, which will never happen against a Kesten because of his passive and Q shield. But yeah, I don't know. And the Roll of Ages build and everything. I find it weird because
You need
LeBlanc.
to be careful though, right? Of early game junglers, like
Oh,
beaking
yeah.
Cassidy into early game junglers.
Oh,
Against
yeah.
stuff like
That's
Ahri
true.
and LeBlanc is still really risky.
Yeah,
But the issue being
Just
is
pick a scaling jungler.
that's true.
like the common junglers right now are Sejuani, Gragas, Nunu, and Rek'Sai. So you get two of them are the only Gragas and Rek'Sai are the only ones that are really going to be able to do much to you.
Mm-hmm.
Besides
Yeah, exactly.
Sejuani, maybe some slows, but Nunu just doesn't really do anything for ganks. He's a lot better at counter. Like I'm gonna walk up and snowball you.
No, yeah, Nino only annoys you in the mid lane comes snowball you. And you can block the damage with Q, but you do lose mana, and it's annoying. But other than that, yeah, in
But I
general.
think that if you ban out one of the kill pressure junglers and pick the other one, it's really a pretty easy pick.
Yeah.
It's rather safe in the current Cinder Hulk meta where it's like, okay, get your Cinder Hulk and then you can start doing things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, clearly KT, I mean, Samsung still had some promise after what they did to Sbenu, but yeah, KT put the hammer down
Yeah.
and said, yeah, no, you're not coming Valkyrie yet.
They mostly said like, yeah, you guys are still bottom, and we're going there. You guys maybe next year, but we are going there now to top, and we're coming for CJ and SKT.
And then we had
Might
probably one of the, oh, yeah.
Or we might see Nagne at Worlds again.
Oh.
Hopefully he does better this time.
Oh, he held his own against Faker.
Yeah, he held his own. He had to just play wave clear
Right.
champions, but I think I think he seems to be getting better. Him and Score developing into
God.
really
Definitely
into
Score,
much
I
better
think.
players. Yeah,
Yeah.
is really good for them. And their bot lane's solid now, which is good, and some days always solid. So
Sunday's always been pretty solid. He's just not Duke, where Duke
No.
would be like, okay, guys, get in the
No,
back,
he's
I'll
not.
carry this.
But yeah, they don't
Yeah,
exactly.
need it.
no, they don't.
Top laners don't need to be that kind of player. It's a bonus if you have it, but in general, as long as they
Right.
do their job, then it's good enough.
I mean, it's a bonus when you win MVP for the regular season, your team
Yeah,
still doesn't
yeah.
make the playoffs.
Yep, that's always a bonus.
It's like, I wonder if that guy's good. So, moving on to the probably most hyped game, I think maybe Jin Air versus IM or Ku versus Najin may have been the two most looked at, sought after games this upcoming this week.
Mm.
We got to see Jin Air actually return to form, or did we? And then is IM
Yeah.
way too overhyped? So what do you guys think about the Jin Air IM series?
Yeah, it really. I think it showed that Jin are still like they're really good in their like rotational play and stuff, and that finally like Chaser's been picking up the Cinderhulk champions well now. So like that problem is like solved. GBM plays is still like really top tier mid laner and
Yeah.
just
Ganked by mom.
yeah, exactly. No, he's doing well, and they showed they're still really good in their rotational play. I mean, that second game, like it frustrated the hell out of me.
That was so
But
weird.
the first game was really nice of them.
Yeah, the first game was nice.
It was really well played and executed. The second game, like I'm not even gonna bitch on the Yasuo pick that much because I actually thought it was compositional wise not actually bad at all, and they really snowballed hard of it. But then they just threw that game so hard, and he had 2 damage items and then refused to buy another damage item for 20 minutes. Well, yeah, then you're just opening up so the enemy team kills you because you have no damage to kill them. Like, that game. And then they won. The fact that they won pissed me off the most because they shouldn't even have won that. Like they should have lost it like they do sometimes too often. Like they still have the problem of fucking up in the mid game, and then yeah, what they did now again. Like that's been my note since last split. Jin Air just goes mid game sometimes, and then they do something super dumb, and then throw the whole game away. And okay.
My biggest issue with Jin Air is sometimes they get too hesitant if they don't have all their ultimates up. Like if they can't get the perfect, exact engage they're looking for at the perfect time at the right person, they just like, let's back off and wait another 5 minutes. It seems that I don't know how successful that's going to be.
Yeah.
Just the way it took them, it seems like they took them so long to be able to adapt that to the Cinderhulk meta, and we'll see if they can continue to doing that. Significant meta changes may just be the death knell for Jin Air every time.
Yeah.
But it's not always a positive thing to deal with. So you want to throw your 2 cents in?
Yeah, sure. I actually think, like, something about it is that I actually think Frozen is a really overhyped player. Like, I think he's okay on like a few champions, and he's got some niche picks, but I don't see him competing with the top mid laners. Apple, I think, is really good.
Yeah.
I think he was like
Oh my god,
appropriately hyped. I think he's actually good. Like, he laned really well against Trace as well. Which is impressive. Yeah. But Tusin's jungle, it's okay. Like he looks like Ambition looked when he started jungling. Like, just not great. And the bot lane is a bit weak, I think.
I find it funny because last splits it was you never saw Wisdom was the jungle. It was Wisdom and Tucson, and now Tucson also goes to jungle. So I find it funny. He just said because he already did have the job for Wisdom before. Now he's gonna actually do it with another team. I find it so.
Yeah.
Oh, not another team, but he's gonna take over.
I would say I'm pretty impressed by Ignar's play from the promotional series, and then in here, I still think he's doing pretty well. They didn't play Sunstar though. I was kind of surprised by that. He didn't seem like he was really an issue why they were failing. I mean, they were comprehensively failing all over because they could only play Tucson and Wisdom walk into the jungle and kill someone randomly. But I was surprised to see Roar play both games instead of one, and split the games between Roar and Sunstar to see who's going to be this. But I guess they're working that out. We'll see when they play more games. But I don't think Frozen is the end-all, be-all like mid laner. I think he's just he was a great player. He was a pretty good player on a bad team, which made him shine even more specifically.
And Xerath was really good in that Xerath meta.
Syndra was great too when Syndra was there, and you could blow one person up, and it was like, well, that's the team fight because now it's 5-on-4, so it doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah.
I think Sunstar was a shining light in some of their games. Last split, actually, he had some really good ones. I think mostly Corky games.
Silver games as well.
Yeah, a couple of silver games as well. Yeah, where he was really strong. So I don't know. Don't think Ignar's okay, but not too sold on him either.
I'm still positively hyped for IM, but like we need to see more though.
I think they'll stay in the middle of the pack this season, but I don't expect them to like shoot up and be challenging for the top three, top four.
No. But hopefully they
I
can have a better record.
They might be able to slip in, depending on how well they adjust. Maybe slip in to try and grab fifth place, maybe, like a really upside hope.
Fifth
But I
is
like
that's
if they don't shoot for if they don't like if as long as they don't get put into the bottom two, bottom three, however many going to like the relegation for Korea again.
they should be
Not
able
too
to.
much known about that, but I think that'd be a success as long as they can continue. They seem pretty solid as a group at this point, at least, though. Not as an embarrassing mess that was the end of last season.
Yeah, it's gonna get worse.
I have
I think
two quick questions.
I think they'll be near
about
the
Jin Air,
bottom.
then. Oh, okay. Yeah,
I think they'll be near the
one-
bottom as of right now. I'd like to see more of them, but as of right now, I have them ninth or something.
I say. So, did you guys notice something odd about both of Incredible Miracle's ban phases, where they banned Bard against
Yeah.
Sweet for some unknown reason?
I don't know. There must have been something going on in scrims we don't know about. I mean, I
Is
think
this like
Bart
the-
is like strong and super annoying to deal with, and if you play him right, but just banning it was surprising.
So I was wondering if
actually
this was the Anivia Annie issue or not.
Oh, right. I doubt it, but the thing about Bard is that if they're banning it, I would say that it's probably because he's like the cornerstone of some team comp that Jin Air must have been trying out and having success with. And if that's the case, then I'd be really interested to see what that comp actually looks like, because that could be really exciting.
Yeah, I was going to say Jin Air is very good at the lane swap, so that's at least you can pull Bard out of pretty much the really sad lane phase that he does have with low base HP and low kind of spells. Well,
That's a good
spell
point.
damage and healing, yeah. And the other thing I wanted to point out is Pilot's 80 carry pool has still remained Ezreal, Corki, Sivir, and he didn't change that at all. He's still the person I'm waiting for him to pull out another pick. I think
his Callista's okay, isn't it?
Callista was banned by Incredible Miracle the first game, and then Jin Air banned it the second game. So I don't know if
He played it.
obviously you want to ban it because it's first pickable, but
Did he ever play before in last split?
Oh, was it banned? It was banned against him. But then I'm not sure if that was just. Yeah, but I think that might have just been the other team thinking that Captain Jack was in the booth or something, because I remember his Ballista was actually all right. But then they were like, oh no, we banned the wrong.
But I mean, even
Pilot-
during the playoffs, like Pilot was Corki Ezreal, and maybe the occasional Sivir, which, to be honest, is, I mean, you press R and you've successfully completed a lot of what you need to do.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
So I mean, that's one of my issues with Jin Air is that there's a couple flaws in their team that I'm still waiting for them to show, because like that was my issue with Gank by Mom. It's like, okay, he's doing great, but it's Orianna, and then he started playing Xerath. I'm like, okay, he's added one champion, and then he started playing like everything under the sun. And you're like, oh, okay, legit
Victor.
player again. Yeah, Victor, his 1000 AP Lulu, where he actually carried on it. There's some crazy things. So let's move on to Saturday. I haven't been able to see all these games, but I did see the game SKT should have lost to Sbenu. We'll start off with game one and the ridiculousness that was this game.
The slow scaling comps against each other. Both teams did not want to do anything early game.
Yeah.
Man, that was I find it annoying that SKT wants to keep playing Tom with Easy Hoon. Like, I want to see more Tom Faker combination.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know Bangy Faker is good, it's solid, but like, how are you ever gonna? We need to see some more Tom Faker as well, in my opinion. They're not doing that enough. And that happens when you put Tom on Easy Hoon, like very, very long ass boring game. That does not do much. I
We
mean,
have Tom who wants to farm for the first 10 minutes, and we have EasyHoon who wants to farm until 6 items.
Yep.
Easy One was really good that game. I pretty much think if he had this is his year, just kept him in the game like the whole time. But
Yeah.
this is year super good. Like surprised they
His
gave it to him. Really, they knew he was playing. So
his Azir kept him in, and then those Hecarims where
yeah, come on.
he'd get so Myron would get so low, back out, teleport in, and be like, "Well, you guys can't fight now. Better run."
Yeah,
I think Marin's ults on nuclear in that first game were really what won them the game. I just think they used quite a lot to try and get on him, and eventually they were able to, and it was thanks to Marin's ults that they were. And he just splattered him from 60% health or whatever.
Marn was such a big beast because eventually in a farm game like that, even the Hecarim top lane is gonna get super huge.
When they started focusing the Lulu and forcing her to ult herself, that was pretty pivotal.
Too.
But if Secret would have hit if Secret was a bit more accurate on his Nautilus Qs, they probably could have had a much better chance of winning that game. But that was a really close game, and I don't think SKT easily could have lost that so many times.
Marn, also all these dragons he stole, like, just because he had such high level, because of the fucking smite, like it's so dumb. Like it's not even Venus' fault. Like
Fun.
and not that either. But yeah, he is just highest
5.9
level,
will
so
take care of that.
yeah, 5.9. We won't see Smite top lane Hecarim anymore. We're gonna all revert back to Ignite, TP.
That smite is just, oh my god, it took way. I guess it feels like it took way too long to fix, but they didn't want to change anything for MSI, which is understandable. But
No,
it just like watching it just felt like it took so long.
no, they should have
to
changed it already at 5.6, I think. And I was already 5.6, 5. I don't know, 5.6 or 5.7. I was already like pissed off that they hadn't fixed it at that point. I think to 5.9 before nerfing two things about it, instead of just making it like limited or something. I could have fixed it, but they didn't want to do that. So I guess
Like strategic diversity, man.
Yeah.
I'm okay with strategic diversity, but when your every top laner takes teleport, and then they're like, "Well, do I have enough mobility to take smite too?"
Even if they
diversity.
didn't, they picked it like half the time.
Yeah. It's like, let's see if I can abuse two overpowered things at once. Like that's the most ridiculous thing.
And
I'm gonna run in, teleport, and smite your AD carry, and he's gonna get exhausted and take true damage, and then we're just gonna all dogpile onto him. That'll be fun, right? AD carries.
Poor AD carries. Oh.
And champions like Hecarim that can 1v5 at their power spikes are really good for the game as well. Just I got a pile on smite on there as well.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of Nuclear's Kog'Maw? I thought it was pretty impressive considering what Sbenu has shown before and at the promotional.
It was quite surprising. No, it was good. Right. Like for a Juggernaut for a new team, like they played it really well. Sad enough they didn't finish it.
I wasn't a big fan of Sassen's Lulu.
Well,
I think it was much better on the Fizz.
No, his Lulu wasn't great, but Nuclear did an awesome job there.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Anything else specific to say about the second game besides Faker taking everyone's blue buff and saying these are mine? These are mine now.
See, this
What did you guys think of that second game?
Yeah, I was just happy. Like, yes, we're gonna have a quick game. It's gonna be over soon. Like, we can't go to the next series. Like, yeah, it was just this total destruction.
This is SKT's auto win comp. Like, I feel like I should see this way more. Like, and against the EDG as well, we should have seen this way more. Like, Bengi Nunu. Like, it's just so by far his best champion. He's so good at Nunu, and I don't think I could ever say that about Bengi other than maybe his Lee Sin.
At one point.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
like at one point, where like
Don't say last year, because his season was
yeah,
fucking...
not last year. Yeah, it would have to be at season 3 Worlds. But yeah, his Nunu's really good, and Faker's Ezreal, okay, it's just god mode, and then they supplement it with the Rumble magic damage. Marin's Rumble is actually good.
I just love the highlights after the game from Ninu, because he had got MVP. All the highlights were just him slapping people. It's like...
Yeah, that's so good.
Big plays. I actually thought Faker was going to get it, but yeah, okay, guess not.
You got to W people and right click.
I think they're past trying to give him like the Korean MVP system seems to be like the opposite of the Chinese one, where China's like, we're just gonna give it to this player because he got put on the team and he's new and he's been doing pretty well, so we'll just give him those.
Yeah, that's so the LCS also does. Give it.
So let's move on to the last series, which I thought would be pretty impressive. I haven't been able to see all the games fully, like I've not really been able to see all of them traveling at the moment, but it seems I was very surprised that Najin was able to come out and actually win, considering their performance against Anarchy was like abysmal.
Yeah.
Did the Najin coaches borrow Groove's belt from Gambit? Stand behind the players.
I was really surprised with Ku's pick and ban phase, like most of the games. It wasn't awesome, and Goon just got Ari the whole time, and he is so comfortable on that champion, and he does so much work on it, and they just gotta get to play. Like it's funny, they won both those games with Vayne. You should be able to find a comp against it, but they played well around the Vayne comp. With first Gragas, with Shijuan was less effective, but Ku played too much into Najin's play, where they had those spread out fights where OQ could just go off on Vayne, and he also got first blood in both those games they won, so that was also always a big thing. You shouldn't think you should win versus Lulu with Vayne.
Yeah.
But
they went in to have 2v2, absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, they went 2v2, but that first, it wasn't really a gank. Like, sure, Watch was there, but the Pure was amazing on Alistar that series, really. Like, both those games, he just got the kill by just headbutting in, and then the Condemn pushed Prey even further away from Gorilla, so he just got obliterated, and Oku got first bloods and always had like even farm, so he got to be a big powerhouse in team fights. That's pretty much how they won both this year.
So is that out of their how many games have Najin played? They've played 6 games, right?
Yeah,
they played 6. Yeah.
Pure has played Alistar 4 times. So I have a feeling that's going to go up the priority list for other teams against them. So I think that is pretty important for them. Yeah. What did you think of Duke's Nautilus?
Yeah, the Nautilus hype that day was weird. It was pretty solid. Like first like it does his job, and I mean the pick is pretty standard. It's just, you go roll of ages and you just sometimes I just Gordy, but go to Vage and do a lot of damage, and you have a lot of CC, so the Vayne has free reign to do what she wants. But
I'm also pretty well hidden pick too, considering the Alistar was picked up last, and you can really Nautilus is a pretty safe support pick.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sold on Nautilus yet, but I mean it works. It does something. Like it's a bit like Maokai, but just less tanky.
Less reliable.
Yeah. Well, you have more. Their CC is still very reliable because you have your ult and stuff.
You have so much more CC, but it's not it's definitely not as click W and kill that thing.
Yeah.
Click R.
But it's so much easier to move away from it.
Yeah, true. And you have a lot of extra disruption, but yeah. It's less tanky and the CC is a bit iffy and reliable. definitely.
What, so
Yeah.
you said that you just go Rod of Ages, but do you think that's actually like I was trying to reason it like so why because
I
everyone
don't
goes
know.
Righteous Glory on Maokai. Is Nautilus's AP scaling is like very similar to Maokai, like
It's
it would be like barely more
It's
at
it's
all.
yeah, it's not great. I mean, I think it's the E is actually quite decent scaling, but I think they feel like they need it less because you can kind of initiate with the hook and stuff, and everything is a bit longer range. I don't know,
That's true.
but yeah, I guess I just find it less necessary, and they want to have the big deal damage.
Mhm.
I'm not really familiar with Nautilus top that much.
I'm not familiar with it either, but I would assume Righteous Glory might take it like the same kind of builds, like you said with Maokai, where you kind of want to do with the Mar and Maokai, where you get the catalyst and you pick up the components, and you finish whether Frozen Heart
Mm,
or you
yeah, something
finish
like that.
Banshee's Veil or whatever you want to finish before, and then yeah, and
Yeah,
then pick up the Righteous Glory as a second or third item, unless you
I have
like
watched a
we
couple
want
of
engage now.
well, I have watched a couple of Trace solo queue games with Nautilus, so I wasn't expecting it out of Duke. I would have thought Trace would pick it first, but
mm,
he seems to do okay with it. Goes similar build. He likes Wits End just to get more damage out of his W, I guess. But
no,
it
what's
seems a
what
bit gratuitous. I don't know.
He
Sand
probably
is
likes to see him swing his hammer really really fast.
Sand is actually a good item on him, but not
Yeah, but I think
in
like being able to afford to go that rather than more tank items is
yeah, that's true.
you probably have to be pretty ahead.
Swiss solo queue. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sand is
exactly.
fine solo queue. I
As as I go back and rewatch them, I guess I'm gonna be surprised about how poorly Ku seemed to have done, and it's been a continuation from the spring split. Just like KT has continued to rise, Jin Air seems to have righted the boat a bit, at least for now, but Ku still seems to be, on the way down.
I mean they had good like strategical plays and stuff, but like they seem to still like SMAP is I don't know. I mean they played Wisdom 2 games, which I kind of liked to like see. Maybe Wisdom brings a bit more. Like they won the second game with him, but then the third. But at uh, yeah, I know. I feel like the needs have a bit more. I don't know, proactive in their what they're doing with their picks. Their strategic play is decent, but then in the team fights, like they falter. Like, they got fucked up a lot. I remember the third game they got really screwed over because of Gnar timings and Prey being out of position. Prey being out of position was really an issue actually, which was surprising.
Oh yeah,
He had great plays occasionally, but then he also like to be fair like that
like
first
right
league.
after the Baron, where
Yeah,
he was just sitting bot lane farming, and they just gave up two turrets and an inhibitor.
and yeah, well, yeah, that's yeah. Before that, they already lost it because of him being out
Yeah,
of
but
position. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was a combination of Prey being caught off position, and sometimes they had really good around the Gnar timings, but other times they got fucked over because the because Najin engaged when Gnar was down and stuff. They seem to not care. They wanted Gnar, but Nigel was prioritizing Makai and the Nautilus a lot more, and they used that a lot better than the Gnar that Ku fell back on. Anarchy was
They
comfortable in the vein for the
because in
re-engages.
game three they tried to play the SKT comp, didn't they? With
yes, they did.
Lulu Sivir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
which wasn't nearly the same. Like,
there was
But
way too much Lulu mid this week for my taste. I
mm,
disliked it last split, and I'm still not a great fan anymore of Lulu mid. They're picking it too much now. They're too comfortable.
hey, Lulu is the best champion in the game. Just no
Yes.
bias here.
Yeah,
she
yeah,
can
yeah,
play
yeah.
every role, and
God, yeah. No mids. And now with Silver, like, ugh, there wasn't enough. Yeah.
I don't know that SKT comp seems to be should be an SKT exclusive comp for just the fact of how when Faker plays Lulu, it's a
Yeah.
different Lulu. The
Yeah.
things he can do are just
That's the point. And
Crazy.
you should play it with Lucian because then you have the dash mobility. Like,
Mhm.
the times he at one time he got cut off by Alistar in game 3. That shouldn't happen if you have some extra mobility, but because you can't spell shield. If the moment he blocks on you, you're fucked. Because or you get a full combo, and even if you spell shield to headbutt, you're still gonna get the pulverize on you. So you're always screwed over if you're in range of the Alistar and get caught by it. Uh, Lucian also just brings more damage output because of the Light Slinger that can proc the Lulu and stuff more. It was really, I don't know why would you go with Sivir there. There were better choices right there. I was hopeful because I saw a lot of Jinx in the first few days of at least day 1. It was like, yes, Korea's gonna pick up Jinx, but then at the end of the week there
No.
was again no Jinx anymore. Like, yeah, never mind. Just pick Jinx more, please. It's a good champion.
They
Is it
still
just
seem
Space
to
and Fury?
not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like I think the first 2 days, and I was like, yes, it's happening. Jinx is coming to Korea, but maybe
Oh, sorry.
maybe not, I guess
Oh
I
no,
was too
Arrow
More
hard.
played it
deft.
again as well, actually.
Yeah, wait, when did they play?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Arrow played it in game 1 against Samsung.
okay.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
maybe there's some
I guess I
hope.
just don't really remember because that game was such a. They just kind of
That game
rolled over
was
them.
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was also fine.
I guess
So,
one question I had was regarding like the meta changes. I mean, you're talking about Ku and Jin Air falling off so much. Like, very rarely do a tier seem drop off so dramatically, like after from one patch to the next. I mean, the only time like I can remember it, I don't even think it was one patch to the next, but it was just like SKT's slow decline. From they were able to just play the pick meta, and they were able to snowball mid lane every game, with good vision, but then the game just slowed down a lot. Makes it, but they were able to come back. Eventually, they were able to adapt after some roster changes and become SKTS.
with
but-
Faker.
Yeah, with Faker.
All right, and Bengi.
Bengi. They don't even play Faker, so. Wow.
That
is a
same
guest.
decline though is a bit reminiscent. Like with Blue, you have the same reverse in Blue. How as the meta started to shift right after that, Blue started to pick up in season 4, and you had them slowly improve. The first season, and in winter you started to see them favor them a bit, and then spring it finally favored them.
They did get Pawn in spring, like cannot.
Yeah, I know they got pawned.
I
They
mean,
did have
they
a
got
huge
they got
change.
Dade.
Dade.
Or Dade,
They brought
Dade,
Dade
yeah.
in, so like that's.
But then you have the exact same thing. Again, you see them declining as the patches. Like you see them get Dade and the King of Spring and everything, but then you saw them again start to decline. Like I was not surprised at all that Blue could not beat White in the Worlds, because
No.
you could just simply see that the meta stopped favoring them and started
Yeah.
favoring more of White's play style.
Yes.
And it's very similar to what you saw with SKT, and I think that's something that is very drastic in Korea versus other regions, where you have teams that kind of can really fall off a cliff significantly in NAEU. Not like there's certain tier levels, I'd say, of power that like TSM clearly stands head and shoulders above most other teams in North America, at least before their season starts. From the past couple seasons, you see a much slower decline, where you can see usually you have a few falters where a few patches hit a couple champions, and you see stubborn players like Shy say, I'm not going to pick Gnar, and then not pick Gnar until he finally picks Gnar and loses a game he should never have lost on that champion. And you see a bit more of that instead of what normally the Jin Air was. That was why I think it was most surprising. It was just like, oh, they just took a step and the cliff ended and they just went down. It was really surprising to see them bottom out so quickly.
Yeah. Well, that was a big patch, of course. Cinderella patch was
Changed was
something mass. Like,
significant. Yeah.
you go from the whole early part of the split where you could play more assassin or super long range mages, where you had a lot of squishy targets, pretty much like you always had like 3 to 4 swishy targets and then one tank top laner, but then you go to 3, 4 tanks, almost 5 with Urgot as well. Like it changes so drastically in picks priority.
Yep.
What champions
Also
are good
got rid of Lee Sin too, which is pretty much like the number
Yeah.
one jungler used.
in Korea,
Yeah.
just in general, but mostly in Korea.
Jarvan got nerfed
Okay, well.
pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a combination of all that stuff.
The flag nerf, the shield, and then Cinderhulk. So we just want to start wrapping up and look towards next week.
Yeah, quickly.
Do you guys know the games coming up next week and have any specific games you want to call out?
I kind of know that
I think.
4 games.
Oh yeah.
That I think.
I just saw that. I just don't know if there's anyone else that. Yeah, KT versus CJ is obviously going to be a significant one. I think we all had KT and CJ as like second and third.
Yeah, everybody
second
had
for CJ, third for KT.
So that should be very interesting.
Najin versus SKT, I think would be pretty interesting. Like you said, I see you have a question mark near it, but I'm actually
Yeah, a question mark is Najin could
SKT
just do nothing. Like
Yeah, which Najin will show up?
yeah, which will not only that, which Najin will show up and which players will SKT field.
yeah, that and yeah, both teams. Well, both teams will field. And if SKT is actually just gonna allow Goong to have Artie or LeBlanc, and because they won against Ku, but was with Vayne, Alistar the whole time, with Ahri the whole, like they literally played Ahri, Vayne, Alistar. So like just remove one of those. Like I wouldn't remove Vayne, but like get rid of Alistar.
Yeah.
Don't let them with Ahri, and I think you don't know what's Najin, if Najin actually has some other plans that actually could work effectively for them. Yeah, also if they just play fake or not, what SKT is gonna do. I don't know.
I don't know about you guys, but if I was SKT, I would probably try and ban out Goong again, just to see if he can play Cassio, if he can play Azir to the level he plays LeBlanc or them.
I think that would just destroy them, really.
Just keep doing that until he can prove, because he's had such a small champion pool for so long. Can he? That was one of the issues that, again, I know Monty brought it up, and other people were looking at Pawn's champion pool going into MSI was just very different for other people that watch in China. It just did not really match up with what the tournament's meta was, but he did show it. So
yeah, that's true. This is zero.
I wonder if Goon can play them.
I think one thing we didn't mention regarding Najin versus Ku this week was that I think it's actually for Najin a bit unusually. It's actually not that bad of a matchup in terms of player matchups. Because Duke can actually go well against Smeb. Watch isn't exposed that badly against Hojin Lee. And Goon can actually do pretty well against Kuro. So, I mean, the bot lane is like the X factor, as it were. You just don't know how that's going to go. Like, I would have expected Prey to do a lot better, but he didn't play very well against
OQ doesn't usually have his... OQ's moments usually happen after lane phase is over. He usually can get through lane phase without, pulling an OQ.
Yeah. That's mostly illegal.
Yeah. So I actually think
interesting.
As much as I think Ku were favored, I do think that Najin, I would have said that they actually match up surprisingly well against them on a player level.
I wouldn't say. I think Ku and Najin are pretty similar at the moment in terms of power. I still think Najin has way more skill, but they fuck up play individual wise or team play wise. I think Ku still has that over them. So it's.
I'd say if I had to put like odds on the game beforehand, I would have put maybe Ku at 55%, not too much higher than that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the only previous time we were able to see them were the awful failings they had the last 2 weeks of play in spring, and then the embarrassing 3-0.
Finals, yeah.
They lost to literally SKTS and Tom.
That's SKTS with this whole conjuncture. Just say it like that.
Yes.
That's how I'd like to say it. Probably.
They were a really good team.
So let's do some picks then. So for the KT-CJ, which do you guys think are going to go for that? Let's start with you, Ben. First, just like 2-1 or 1, just the numbers.
Yeah,
percentage.
I'll go 2-0 CJ. I actually think they're I think that like you said, that them and SKT look like they're on another tier of team. Like even though I have KT at 3, I do think CJ are just so strong right now. I mean, these games are being played on 5.8 still, aren't they?
I
don't
actually,
know if it'll be 5.9 or 5.8. I think it might be 5.9 though.
yeah, I think I heard 5.9, but I'm not sure. I'm not
If it's
sure.
5.9, then if it's 5.9, I'll say 2-1 CJ. I still think. They're looking really good.
Other than Sets and Ash, what happened to 5.9? It wasn't that much. 5.9?
Yeah, not that much.
No, Sets
I
mostly.
don't. And
Ash.
Ash won't be.
Well, they probably won't
I
play
guess
Ash.
neither of
They
them.
can play. She has no mobility.
Yeah.
Nagne
If
and
they're not gonna play
Coco
Jinx,
are
they're definitely
amazing
not gonna
Zed
play
players.
Ash.
Ooh, actually, Callista, they removed the passive from going backwards.
That's
The
true.
dashing backwards.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much that actually.
It's not too huge, but I mean, OQ is renowned for his Callista play.
This is KT CJ.
Yeah. True.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Not Space. We're not gonna. Space not gonna play this.
No,
Well,
but
maybe.
see, I'd say
Maybe.
2-1 CJ, considering if Space is allowed to pick a champion at one point. If he can
Yeah.
pick his AD carry 2-1, if he doesn't 2-0, I agree with that. I think that the CJ is just above KT. KT is looking in right now, and we can see. I mean, if they show up and play, I might put them up to the same level. But
Actually, 5.9 is removal of smite top laners, right? That's the removal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That, so actually, yeah. I'm still saying 2-1 CJ, but I want to see now how good, because they just showed up because it was against what Sbenu they played. I guess Anarchy, but like Coco shouldn't really be allowed to play Jace anymore.
You don't have to ban Shy's Shyvana every game.
Yeah,
either.
and that won't have to happen anymore. Like, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Because I think with the smite removal, Shy is gonna be more the carry threat. So I think it's, and some days.
I don't know.
I mean, you
His
still.
Rumble
Mundo
is
is
still
pretty
really
good.
good.
Yeah, too. But you can ban that and then get. I think if you do that, and then some days should just be fine, and then they can work around that. And score is for me better, but I think they're still gonna lose. But I want to see how they're gonna do now with CJ, with Shy being less of a threat with the smite gone. He might still run it, but that would be bad.
I still think Shy is going to do pretty well. I mean, he was doing very well
Yeah.
top lane even before that, and
That's true.
you didn't really have you didn't really have someday abusing smite junglers like they were, or top laners. Like he didn't go to the same level of using smite top laners that we've seen in other players for someday.
His Hecarim was okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
Still,
Yeah.
it's just
Still
whenever I
Someday
think of
is
someday, I
really
still think of Renekton, so it's still weird.
yeah.
Trying to get over that.
Would just be good.
I think Shy's team fighting is just like out of this world.
Amazing.
Like, Shy is
Yeah.
amazing. That's true.
And that's not going to
still
go away
can't-
this patch.
Can't believe his Mundo, when no one else is playing Mundo, he just was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up a double and triple kill on freaking full tank Mundo.
Amazing shit.
Going to flank somehow. No one knew how he got there. Like,
I'm just saying with the smite removal, he'll be less of the one-shot your AD carry threat.
Yeah.
So Arrow will actually have the time to play. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna carry, but like
Oh no, I mean,
they're actually gonna
Arrow still
be able
has-
to deal damage in team fights, which is important.
My issue with Arrow is he's still from, KTA, where positioning was not the most important part of the game.
That
So
is the fact.
then again, you have the same issue with both AD carries. They like to pick weird champions that just completely don't do anything in the current meta, and they just fail on attempting to do what they wanted to do. That sync out play does not work for them. So we all agree pretty much CJ is going to win. Just whether or not it be 2-1, 2-0, depending on a few
Factors of
extra
Big Bang.
factors. Yeah.
I
So
think
then we
so.
have Najin 2-1. Yeah, I mean, I think KT's is strong enough to take a game. Whether they can do it though is the
Mm.
or KT, yeah, KT can take it. So now we have Najin SKT. I don't see this ending well for Najin.
No.
Maybe 2-0. SKT.
Yeah, I'm still saying 2-0 as well.
I would say 2-0. As
Just
long
on-
as they play Watch and Goon.
Yeah, they need it.
I think the series we
Better
skipped
mid
over
laner.
will be closer. Like, I think Q Samsung could be like a 2-1.
I would hope that Ku can
2-1.
beat Samsung. I really hope Ku
But
can
do you
beat
think
Samsung.
do you think they'll 2-0 right now? Like,
Samsung still has. Well, maybe not 2-0. Not saying that, but they should win.
I don't
Yeah,
think
they should win.
Crown is the same matchup that I think Kuro should be able to take on not Kuro. There's
Kuro.
these stupid mid names that are so
Yeah,
close.
Kuro.
Yes, Kuro
Yeah, Kuro versus Crown.
should be able to take out or should be able to take on Crown a little easier.
Yeah, I think this should be okay. I don't see the problem. That's 0.
I say, Peter, you highlighted Anarchy versus IM.
Yeah, the bottom teams. Let's see if, who's gonna be the higher of the two. Like, is Anarchy gonna continue the spree? Gonna take out another lower team? I don't know.
well,
I think
that's the thing.
this is also like just to show. This game has to show if I am actually is good and like above the bottom teams.
Well, it's
I
a
would
rematch
say I
isn't it,
think is it? Oh yeah, the promotional.
from the promotion. Yeah.
Yeah, well that too. That too.
I don't know. I think if Jin Air plays against Anarchy, and Jin Air's a pretty smart team, if they are able to show that if you just camp Mickey, or if you
Mickey.
just play passive against Mickey and not let him carry the team, if they win 2-0 convincingly by just mid-centric comps and making sure Mickey doesn't go crazy, I think IM could probably try and replicate that, and I think that's probably going to be their downfall. It might be 2-1 because you never know. Mickey may get a champion and just go nuts by going to a sideline, picking up a double kill, and just never being able to be put under control again. But I still think IM should be able to nudge that one out.
Yeah, I think that too. Don't see them
And we're
losing.
gonna
I'll go
We're
Anarchy
skip-
then.
Anarchy.
Yeah. No, I
For the
think Anarchy
Helix?
will win. I think they'll win 2-1.
For the Helix Stone.
Yep.
They are fun with that name. That name is truly a defining term for them. That is a
Yeah.
well put name. There should be fun games nonetheless. I mean that's one thing you can get out of them is that
Yeah,
they
that's
do
a-
shake it up a bit.
More things.
Which is something that usually is good against Jin Air, because Jin Air's games can get really tedious and boring very quickly as they wait patiently for their ults and the perfect engage, and then just the game's over. After like 40
Tracy's
minutes
like, I
of
need a ward
posturing.
exactly here, otherwise I'm not TPing.
I think we're gonna skip CJ Sbenu because
Yeah,
that's gonna be a hard game.
Whatever.
And then the last game of the week is going to be another interesting one of Jin Air versus KT, because we all had KT losing to CJ. So it's going to be, is KT going to go 0-2 on the week?
I don't think so. Definitely if like Jin Air, what did they show this week? It was okay, but still took them a lot of work, and KT just. I think they have now as well the strategic advantage over them, and they won't fuck up that much. And score is just better at the moment. Like I know, I think he overpassed Chaser now, and I think he's gonna do a lot more. And with the bot lane as well, like it should be pretty convincing series. Maybe like depends on how good GBM will do. I don't know. I think that will be a factor for Jin Air. If we can get a champion, he can wreak havoc on. But I think KT should win that one 2-1, 2-0. Actually, I'm leaning towards 2-0, really. Depending, well, we'll see after against CJ, but I think 2-0 should be doable for KT.
Okay. I think it'll be 2-1 to KT. I think Jin Air will win a game. I think it'll be very close. I think there will be one game that will be very long, at least, between these two teams. Like,
With Jin Air, yeah. Good
yeah,
shot. Odds are always high.
yeah. Jin Air are good rotations, but they still can't close the game, even though like they can establish a massive lead
Yeah, that's their problem.
and just like they just sit there for ages. Eventually, they win.
Yeah. They definitely do not do things quickly at all. They do it at their pace when they want to. I'd have to say I think it's a 2-1-2, and I think that there's going to be a couple long games, and it's going to be pretty well fought. But I do think score is definitely going to be a pivotal reason for KT to win. He's just like an aberration from position swap into the jungle. He's just been so impactful. The spring split, where if he wasn't on, the team just folded so hard. But he has been a fantastic jungler. Where the second I saw him, I was like, he's got to be top 3 for just the amount of work he does for his team, and he's proven that he's been able to do it, which is surprising because everyone's been talking about Ambition because he's gone to IEM and shown up, was able to play in the finals, like not the finals, but like the semifinals. But I guess that was the pseudo final.
For the real fans, that was the finals because those were the top 2 teams. I put those two, like Ambition and Score, because they both had the role swaps to jungle from different lanes. I put them the whole early split of spring together, like at like the second tier junglers, sort of. But then Score took over like pretty rapidly and went above Ambition.
Yeah.
In the beginning it was for me even a bit, but then Score took over.
It just scored so much more,
Yeah.
and Ambition didn't need to carry. Ambition just needed to not screw up, really.
You get that luxury.
I find it really funny, given Score as an AD carry before, where like he was just known to like not do anything. Like he would just output damage, never die, like never really go in. But like now it's just
he's doing all the engages. Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's doing all the work. Ridiculous.
I guess if you stay on the outside and you calculate every single engage and make sure it doesn't hit you in order to not die, you might know when to engage.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty abstract point, sure.
I'm sure it's someone has brought that up somewhere. The reverse psychology. If I don't do something, I know how to do that not thing. Okay, well, I think that's about it. So thanks, Ben, for coming on to the first episode. And I have no idea when this is gonna come out, but hopefully we'll see you guys next week too.
Yeah,
Pleasure.